Hello everyone, so I wanted to do this video or review channel because a lot of films were coming out and I had a lot of thoughts to say, so I thought I'd give this a shot, see how it turns out, and who knows, we'll have some fun. So, one of the films that came out last year was Wonder Woman 84, a sequel to Wonder Woman. And I thought it would be fun to take a look at a film set in the 80s, one of my favorite decades. Maybe it would be interesting to see. We could have Diana fighting against corrupt 80s business moguls. Could be something akin to RoboCop, maybe. With maybe a little less people turning into salsa by Ed 209. But just a little less. Maybe. Unlikely. So I went down to watch it. I loved the first Wonder Woman film. It was actually pretty good. I thought it was great. But this one was a disappointment. I don't know what to say. Okay, actually I do know what to say. It's got a lot of things going on. Okay, so the plot is Diana Prince is Wonder Woman, and played by Gal Gadot. She is living in Washington, D.C., working in the Smithsonian Museum, and she encounters a magic stone that grants wishes, and she unintentionally uses it to bring her lover, Steve Trevor, played by Chris Pine. So I guess she was still Chris Pining for him in this film. That's terrible. I'm sorry. I promise I won't make those puns in every video. Or will I? Actually, no, I won't. So yeah, we have... That is where the film then goes into overdrive, where Maxwell Lord, played by Pedro Pascal, shows up, steals the stone, and wants to use it to grant everyone's wishes and become omnipowerful. Probably in a similar vein to Jafar in near the end of the Aladdin film. Which one? Both, I guess. So we also have Kristen Wiig playing Barbara Minerva, or Cheetah, as you might know her in the comics. There is some... Will Wonder Woman be able to stop Maxwell Lord? Or will the world get their wishes granted? But there is a price. The one problem with the Wishing Stone is it takes something away from you. So if you wish to be a billionaire, you might get that money, but you'll also be taken away by the IRS or something. It seems like a straightforward plot, but it falls apart like a snowball in an inferno. Everything goes off the walls and becomes insane and nonsensical as the plot goes on. But as a film on its own, it's actually very interesting. So a good chunk of this film is focusing on Maxwell Lord and his want of being powerful and rich and successful in 1980s, but it leads to so many problems, and he keeps getting outsmarted. He gets bullied and pushed around by others, and it's a problem because the film is it does not know what it's trying to do, much like me in this video, actually. But we have Diana. She shows up briefly in various different parts, and in most of the film, she does don the Wonder Woman in suit, but it's very brief, and it spends more time with Steve and Diana just fooling around in 1984 or America, and it's kind of funny, but it's really not what I wanted to see. I kind of wanted to see superhero action, if only because it's weird that I wanted to see Wonder Woman in a Wonder Woman movie, but yeah. So yeah, visual effects are pretty good up until one part of the film where it is most certainly not well done. It's the big final battle between the hero and the villain, because it always has to be this way, and I'll get into more detail later, but just focusing on non-spoiler or thoughts, this film is a mess. It's got some good actors and actresses in it. It's got great visuals, but a lot of the plot threads go nowhere. There's this one scene where Diana, Steve go to Cairo to confront Maxwell Lord, and nothing is accomplished with it. They don't learn anything. They don't stop Maxwell Lord. Maxwell Lord doesn't really gain much anything from it. It's a mess. They discover secrets regarding where the Wishing Stone came from, but that's honestly, it's just enough to get them an idea of what's happening. But again, it doesn't lead to any success or secrets that they can use to defeat the villain. And yeah, and there is another problem with the film, but again, I'll leave that for now. So my thoughts, skip it. It's a shame because DC films were doing very well. They had a shaky start with Man of Steel and Batman v Superman and Oscar-winning Suicide Squad. But then Wonder Woman came out, and that was very good. We had Justice League, which was okay. It was kind of lame, but it was kind of ambitious, I guess. Maybe it had some moments where it was kind of fun, but it was just passable. Shazam and Aquaman were very good. I absolutely loved them. Joker was a lot of fun. Well, fun in a relative sense. It's actually pretty depressing, but it's a very impressive film for what it's trying to do. Birds of Prey, I didn't like it as much as others, but that's probably because I'm a big Cassandra Cain fan, and I was not happy with how they handled her at all. But that's my problem. I can see other people loving that film for what it is, and I understand it. So yeah, just it's a shame, but leave it alone. I guess just wait for the Snyder Cut of Justice League. I'll probably have something to say about that 4-hour film. So yeah, I guess that's it for my non-spoiler thoughts on the film. What did you think of it? Leave a comment if you don't want to see any spoilers, and if you want to see it yourself, well then you can just close the video and I will go into spoiler territory. Okay, so this is where we're going to talk about the plot in more detail, and also probably discuss some of the proper themes of the film with more of an analytical edge to it. So we'll see how this goes. Okay, so we start off in Paradise Island. It's Diana Prince's young 7-year-old. She's competing in Amazon Fallout or Ninja training. it's some sort of competition where a group of Amazons have to compete against one another, and it's a race, but they also have to hit the checkpoints. And so they go through the race, and the other Amazons are fully grown women, and it's weird seeing that. So yeah, okay, so a 7-year-old is allowed to compete, I guess. It's fine. I guess they don't mind having her be in it because she's the daughter of Zeus, I guess. So yeah, they compete. Diana charges ahead. She's doing pretty well. Then she gets knocked off her horse by a tree branch. She has super speed and strength, but she can be knocked off a horse that very easily if she's not focusing, I guess. Yeah, anyway, so she falls behind. She finds a shortcut, and she uses it. And as she manages to almost make it to the finish line, Princess Buttercup from the Princess Bride, she's one of the Amazon generals, she grabs her and says, "You cheated!" And Diana's like, "No, I won! I wanted to win!" And the Queen, Diana's mother, she shows up, and she's like, "Diana, a true hero does not lie. Greatness comes from being true to oneself." And we have our coda of the film, the idea that you can't lie to yourself, that the film is all about being true to oneself, and this is what will be playing throughout the film as its moral, I believe. And we then, of course, we flash forward to 1984, America. And, hoo boy, it is full-on 80s fashion, hairstyles. I genuinely was expecting to see Captain Kirk and Mr. Spock looking for whales. Honestly, it's amazing, because they do a good job emulating the style, but it's just a bit too much at points. But it's hilarious, and I kind of love it. So I'm all in favor if this was going to be the rest of the film. But it's unfortunate because after that point, they kind of don't really do much with the 80s location or setting. They kind of just have it as a background element. It genuinely feels like we don't really have much to do with it or comment on it, I suppose. But it's a shame because I thought you could do a lot of interesting things with it. But anyway, so Diana's doing her superhero thing. She's saving people from getting seriously injured. She saves a bride from falling off a bridge. She stops some bank robbers who are stealing gold from a shopping center. But she's smashing all the security cameras, and she's making sure her picture isn't taken, because if you remember, in Batman v Superman, the only picture that was ever taken of her was in World War I back in 1914. So I just can't... So I understand why they have to keep the mystique of what's going on for the timeline, but why is Diana doing this? If she's perfectly fine with stealing, with a swooping around and smashing up cameras, why is she even bothering to help people when it seems like such an odd decision? It makes no sense, and I'm gonna warn you now, we are probably gonna hear that phrase a lot in this review, so be sure to count it. I might say it more than that amount of time. Anyway, so as I said before, Diana is working in the Smithsonian. She meets up with Kristen Wiig, who plays Barbara Minerva, and she's in full-on 90s, 80s nerd persona. She has the big, thick glasses, the baggy clothes, and she's unable to walk in heels. And she is a klutz. She has no social skills, but she has a kind heart, and she has an instant hero admiration for Diana. And you could honestly imagine that this was probably not intended, but it's surprisingly close to being ripped off from Batman Forever or Amazing Spider-Man 2 with Jim Carrey as the Riddler or Jamie Foxx as Electro, because it is so close to being the same concept and character, and it gets silly. Diana helps pick up her papers, and she's like, I just want to be like you, Diana. And she actually says that. So I'm not putting words in her mouth. But anyway, so they're working in the Smithsonian with the ancient historical antiques. They get an entire shipment from the FBI, and one of them is this golden stone crystal. I'm not sure what it is, but it's a wishing stone, and apparently it can grant whatever wish you want as long as you're holding on to it. So we have our MacGuffin for the film, and Diana, she holds on to it, and she makes her wish absent-mindedly because she never got over Steve Trevor, even though 70 years passed, but she probably wasn't expecting it to work, which is odd considering she's a literal demi-goddess, but we'll move on. We have Maxwell Lord, played by Pedro Pascal. He's introduced in all the slimy 80s business mogul. He has the very outrageously designed light blue pinstriped suit. He has the very horrible looking hair, the gold watch, and he's all the slimy business tropes, and Pedro Pascal is having a ball in this movie. He is enjoying himself, and I love seeing him in it because he's all like, this is your life, but it can be better. And it's one of the few good parts of the film, but it's also probably a bit weird at points. So yeah, we have he meets up with Barbara. They sort of hit it off, but it doesn't really move anywhere past it. I think he was just trying to probe her for information on the artifacts, because later we see he had information regarding the Wishing Stone, even though the FBI was giving it to the Smithsonian so that they could look into it and translate it, but Maxwell Lord already had information on it beforehand. Whatever. So this film genuinely feels like a first draft, and I'm not sure, and it's not in a good way, if that makes any sense. So we have Diana and Barbara agree to meet up at this fundraiser for the museum, and here is where we introduce ourselves to Steve Trevor. He's played by Chris Pine. He's back to life, except not really, because when Diana made the wish on the stone, Steve Trevor came back to life, but he's not in his body. His mind, his consciousness, his soul, whatever you want to call it, it's in the body of someone else. Like, some random man off the street was given that soul. And it's sort of like in The Thing, where there's kind of like this other entity inside the body, and this is where things kind of start getting a little creepy, actually, because effectively this man is now completely dead or possibly unable to bring out his ideas or beliefs out loud, and there's no conflict. There's no scene of him trying to fight back against Steve Trevor, who is effectively possessing him like a demon in Exorcist, or in it is genuinely creepy, and I don't think the film intended for it to be that way. So while that's happening, while Diana and Steve are having their big emotional reunion, we have Maxwell Lord and Barbara. And Barbara had already made her wish to be more like Diana. She wanted to be strong and beautiful and confident. And Maxwell Lord, he has the stone. He sneaks it into his office. And we have his story where it's revealed he bought all these oil refineries, and he got them cheap because they were all tapped out. There's no more oil for him to plunge into. But he wants, and his business is going under. He's losing too much money because he's trying to do too much 80s American economics. He's spending way too much money. So he takes the stone and he goes, "I wish to be the stone." And the stone absorbs into him. He becomes the wishing stone. But he doesn't, it's not like he's slowly turning into a stone-like statue with every wish he makes, or he has like a golden hand made of stone, like, and every time he makes a wish, one of the fingers goes inwards. No, he's just the same, but he's able to grant wishes, and he has phenomenal cosmic power. So we have that happening, and while all that's going on, we return to Diana and Steve, and they're in the handsome man's apartment, and yes, I checked the credits. He is literally credited as handsome man. I'm just gonna let that out there and move on. So yeah, we then have the hilarious scene of Steve and Diana breaking and entering into this man's apartment. They comment on his lack of his bachelorhood, I suppose. They don't make it. They make mockeries of how he looks pretty good in that body, Steve. You really traded up, buddy. And this just gets creepier and creepier with each second. We have the aftermath where Steve and Diana, yeah, I think you know what I'm referring to. So this is pretty creepy when you stop and think about it, because yeah. So why don't we just move on from that, because that's a messed up subject matter when you stop and think about it. So yeah, superhero action, please. So yeah, Diana is only now, after everything else, decides that this is weird, this shouldn't happen. And she and Steve decide to investigate this. And Diana thinks to look into the stone a bit further. So she and Steve have a clothes changing montage, because of course we have time for that. We have Steve trying on all the stupid 80s clothes you could think of. He I think tries the clothes Michael Jackson wore in the Thriller video. We have him trying some sort of white sports jacket, and It just, one thing I will say, 80s fashions is always a lot of fun to watch, even if the film they're in is not great. I can't argue that. I love all the Friday the 13th films, so this is kind of my jam. Anyway, so yeah, we have after that we have, of course, Steve being wowed and awed by all the advances of technology, like the mohawk hairstyle, the break dancing that these kids do today, the trains, because Steve is from 1914, that they didn't have trains, even though we clearly saw Diana and Steve boarding a train in the last movie. Steve gets enamored with a rubbish bin, and Chris Pine does a good job pulling this off, because anyone else, you'd think they were an idiot, but he has natural charisma to pull this off. So I'm not going to be too harsh on him or Gal Gadot, because she actually does well in this film, because you do genuinely kind of feel that their relationship was pretty heartwarming at points, but it still doesn't save the script, sadly. Anyway, so we have Diana and Steve encountering Barbara, and they need to know where the wishing stone is. Barbara says she doesn't have it, and she says she lost it, but she doesn't know what's happening, because Barbara's now stronger. She's more confident. She's doing well. She's interacting with everyone. She's making jokes. She's being suave and confident, and you feel like she just doesn't care about her job anymore, and it's kind of funny. Like, she said she wished to be like Diana, but she doesn't have any of Diana's heroic traits. So I think the idea is that the wishing stone gave her the traits that Barbara was focusing more on, and not on her personality traits, like her heroic spirit or her sense of kindness and care and passion. Or maybe Diana isn't that compassionate in this film. Either's possible. So yeah, we have Maxwell Lord. He has now transported himself to Cairo in Africa. So he wants to meet up with this oil tycoon, and he wants to get access to all of his lucrative money, and he'll offer him anything he wants. And the tycoon is like, I would wish for a way to separate my beautiful city away from the rest of the world. And Maxwell Lord had his hand on his back and said, wish granted. And an entire wall surrounds Cairo. Like this is something like out of a Attack on Titan. Like, it's so massive that it just shows up out of nowhere. And we now come to one of the biggest problems of this film. The wishing, the rules of how the wishing stone works is all over the place. We have Barbara Minerva being given godlike strength, speed, endurance. We have Maxwell Lord being able to create matter out of nothingness. He created an entire, I'd say, 20 feet tall wall, but it can't transport Steve Trevor back from 1914 to 1984. It can't just open up a time portal. It can't create himself a new body. No, it can just... It has to put his mind or soul in someone else's body. I do not get the rules of this. It makes no sense. But, yeah. So, Maxwell Lord then also gets the guards, the oil tycoon's guards, to now work for him because that was, I guess, the price for the oil tycoon's wish. He gets his entire city walled off, and he loses his security force. It's kind of a random price point, I think, but I guess because he's the stone, he can decide the prices for each wish. Anyway, so we have one of the weirdest scenes in this film. So Diana and Steve need to get to Cairo to stop Maxwell Lord, but they don't have a way to transport themselves to Cairo because Steve technically doesn't have a passport. Well, I'm sure the body he's occupying has a passport, but again, I don't know. Bad Donald, stop thinking like that. So they decide the sensible thing to do is to steal a plane, a fighter jet, like I think it's an F-11 or F-9 fighter jet, and they find this fighter jet. They apparently will, and it's in the Smithsonian's jet hangar section. I'm sure it probably has that, and it's fully fueled and operational. It's not like a prop plane just to look nice and the tourists can sit in it and look around. No, it's fully functional. It can fly. But Steve Trevor, he was a pilot in World War I. He can fly this! Even though 70 plus years of technological advancements would probably make this super hard to understand. But no, he fiddles with the dials. He flips some levers. He can fly this super easy. It's not even an issue. He gets in. He's all, oh yeah, I can fly this. And they fly off. And none of that's the silliest part of this scene. I assure you, we're getting to it. So yeah, Diana then realizes, oh no, they have radar. Steve's like, what's radar? It's this device that allows them to detect things that are flying when they shouldn't. Steve's like, so what do we do? So Diana starts rubbing her hands, and she says, my father Zeus, he once was able to make all of Paradise Island turn invisible so that man's world could never find it. I was only able to make a coffee mug disappear. Steve's like, what are you doing? I'm gonna turn this plane invisible. So yes, of all the silly parts of Wonder Woman comic history, they decided to embrace the invisible jet. And Diana can just magic up her plane to be invisible. And I'm just... So, we're just going to ignore the fact that radar is designed to look for using echolocation, and it's designed to find disturbances in air paths and currents and all that. So, even if the plane was literally invisible to the naked eye, it probably wouldn't be invisible to radar. So, so this is... Oh god, this is just... Oh, this is so stupid. And this is taken seriously. This is supposed to be the tense action hero moment for our two heroes. So yeah, they fly through the night sky. There's fireworks going off because it's the 4th of July, and Steve is all awed again. He's like, ah, because fireworks didn't exist in 1914. Who knew? So yeah. Also, that jet is flying really slow. If they can just fly gracefully past a firework in the middle of its explosion. Also, flying close to a firework. I'm sure that was a smart idea from our ace pilot. Anyway, we have we see Steve and Diana in the Cairo desert. They're looking for Maxwell Lord. They see him and his envoy of trucks, armed vehicles, because he's a bad guy. So Diana instantly jumps into action. And this is actually one of the more impressive action scenes in the film. I actually think this is the best one. So we have her jumping, swinging her lasso, catching it on the edge of cars. She's skirting along. She actually starts hanging onto the underside of a car. It's all very impressive, but we also notice that she's getting shot. She isn't able to deflect the bullets as quickly as she usually is, and she gets winged on her arm. And we start learning that this is because her wish did come with a price. She is losing her powers, and this is where the issue becomes prevalent. So Steve is able to stop up the security forces from shooting at Diana, and Diana is able to get to the front of the car that Maxwell Lord is hidden in, and Maxwell Lord is like, I have the stone, I am the stone. Diana's confused for a minute, and then she realizes what happens, and she has to save these two poor kids who are playing on the road, because kids play on the side of the road in these movies. They just do. Oh, that cliche is... It never makes sense to me. So, yeah. So Diana has to save the kids, and because of that, Maxwell Lord makes a clean getaway, and it's odd that Maxwell Lord, even though he has the power to wish anything he wants, he doesn't think to maybe wish away the super strong woman who landed in front of the car he was in. He doesn't wish her away. He doesn't wish her to Mars, or make her explode. No. He just focus on the mission. Okay, so yeah. Steve and Diana, they call up Barbara. They ask to see if she can find out any information on this stone. And we don't see how they make it to America. I guess, well, ironically, we don't see the invisible jet, so clever, I guess. Or maybe they genuinely forgot that was the thing. Anyway. So Diana and Steve, they meet up with Barbara, and they meet up with this completely random guy. He's not really a character. He just is an exposition dump. He explains that the stone is a monkey's paw. It will grant you your wish, but it will take something away. It is the ruination and the fall of many great civilizations. It has led to tragedy and terror and all that normal stuff. And it feels odd to say this, but is anyone ever wondering why this magic stone, why no one put two and two together that the stone was causing it previously, and no one decided to renounce their wishes? Because we later learned that's a thing you can do, and apparently you don't even need to hold a stone to renounce your wish, because we'll get to that later. So, moving on. So, Maxwell Lord is in his now super successful business. He has hundreds of people. He has all the money he needs. He can keep his business going. But he's used up so much of his employees' wishes that he has no more wishes he can use. So, and he's kind of getting more and more sick and ill because the wish stone, it drains his life force every time he makes a wish, even though the wish stone and him are one. So is the wish stone slowly killing itself? Is the stone trying to kill Maxwell Lord even though it gains nothing from this? And if the stone, or if Maxwell Lord dies, does the stone get destroyed? Because that will probably stop all the wishes anyway. So I don't think, this is where my continued theory of this being a first draft script comes into play, because it feels like there are so many plot threads happening, and I don't think they took the time to actually ask these proper questions about what's going on. So, yeah. So we have chaos erupting in Washington, D.C. There's an old man who's like, I wish for a farm, but now there's these cows outside this park. And Diana and Steve, they are reconvening in her apartment, and she is looking to try to find where Maxwell Lord could be. And Steve notices she has this armor, this golden armor that is wrapped up in paper, just laying across the wall where she keeps her security cameras, and we have this explanation that it's magic super armor from the world's greatest Amazon warrior, and Diana says that only a true warrior can wield it and use it to greatness. And we don't get an explanation for where it was located, how she found it, why she wants it. It's not explained. Moving on. Maxwell Lord meets up with the President of the United States, who doesn't look exactly like Ronald Reagan. It's very odd. Like I said, the 80s aesthetic is only used for brief periods. Like, we have scenes where Barbara is working out in the gym and she's in the 80s spandex, but none of the... We have her wearing the 80s fashion trends, but again, the actor doesn't really do much of a Reagan impression, so I don't know. So he meets up with the president. He's all, President, what do you need? And the president is all like, I need more nuclear warheads. And he's like, done. And suddenly he says, all of your Secret Service men, they work for me now. And now I shall... What's that over there? Look, no, he literally sees... the president has a bunch of cardboard cutouts of his space race technological super satellite that'll connect him to every television on the planet. And the president says, it will figuratively let you touch every person on the planet. And Maxwell Lord is like, so it will literally let me touch everyone. And this is where the film gets more ridiculous. So Maxwell Lord only went in here to get the authority of the equivalent authority of the President of the United States, and he was hoping that somehow he'd be able to connect with all the people on the planet. And when he discovered that the president had his secret world hostage taking satellite uplink system up against the wall, he was all like, I have a great new plan. It's just... What's sad is I can actually believe that the president would leave his world domination plans out in the open in the Oval Office. Oh, God. So, yeah, Diana and Steve, they find I'm Maxwell Lord. They're gonna try to stop him. but Diana's powers are dwindling, and she and Steve are worried and Steve is worried because Diana can't fight like she is. She's getting weaker and she's injured. She needs her powers back, and Diana's like, "No, I won't lose you." So she fights on, and she tries to knock out the Secret Service. So good luck not becoming a threat to national security there, Diana. I'm sure this will all work out perfectly. So yeah, that happens, and she is close to stopping Maxwell Lord, but then Barbara shows up, and she's like, "I can't let you do this, Diana. I won't go back. I won't go back to being no one." And this is the thing to note is, throughout the film, Kristen Wiig she's a good actress. She's great in comedy. She's a lot of fun. But when she was trying to be fun and nerdy, she was kind of cringy. But it's only when she's serious that I find her hilarious. It's just, she just plays it so deadpan and terrible. But she has these great lines, and it's just fun seeing this. So she fights Diana. It's actually this is actually the second best fight in the second best action scene, because Diana's weaker, but Barbara's getting stronger. It's actually an unfair fight, and it's very interesting to see our hero in this position. It's very tense. There's excitement. Diana doesn't know how to win. She tries her armband thing from the last movie where it exploded, but it doesn't do nearly enough damage, so Barbara no-sells it. She knocks Diana into the wall. Maxwell Lord escapes on the president's personal helicopter. Barbara manages to make it there with her super speed, and the two of them fly off to the president's secret satellite bunker. So, as that's going on, Barbara and Max have their discussion, and Barbara's like, "I don't want to be like Diana anymore. I want more." And Max is like, "I can break the rules. What do you want?" And Barbara's like, "I wish to be an apex predator." And I was thinking, so is she going to become like a killer whale? A shark? A crocodile? A Tyrannosaurus Rex? No. No. She becomes a cheetah. Yeah. It's about as silly as you think it looks. Because she looks exactly, and I'm saying this, she looks exactly like the cats from that film, The Cats, like the musical. She's full on. This is where the effects fail badly. She looks terrible in it, and it's so stupid. Oh dear, why did she think that would look? Why did they think that looked good? Oh god, yeah. So yeah. While that's happening, Diana and Steve, they make it out of the Oval Office. Diana's struggling. She's in pain, and Steve is like, "Diana, you have to give me up." And she's like, "No, I'll find a way. You can't do this. You can't beat them like this. I love you, but we have to do the right thing." And Diana and Steve have this emotional farewell. The camera's spinning around them. And Diana turns away because she can't bear to watch him die. Or she can't bear to talk to the stranger that Steve's been possessing for this entire movie. Take your pick. So the music is sad, and she cries, and her wounds are healing. She's able to run at super speed again. She jumps into the air, and she starts flying like Superman. And then she starts pulling out her lasso and riding lightning bolts because, oh god, I don't know. There's no reason for this at all, because we later learn she has to go back to her apartment to get the golden armor. So yeah, this flying scene, it genuinely has no purpose, because she could have ran to her apartment and donned the golden armor there, and then she could have started flying with the wings and everything. But no, they want to leave that for the reveal, even though they spoiled it in all the trailers. So, where were we? Okay, so Maxwell Lord, he's set up the satellite cameras. He's connected himself with everyone across the world, and he then says, I will grant you all your wishes. Wish around the world. And people start jokingly wishing, yeah, I wish I was famous. And suddenly, that person is super famous. Everyone's like, it's her, take a picture. And then we have a person in a battlefield, some war, going, I wish that our side had more nukes. And we have this guy in a closet going, I wish I was king. And it's more chaos is going on. It's going full on insanity. The Russians are setting up their nukes to launch at America because America has too many nuclear warheads. The city in Cairo that's walled off by that giant wall. They're like, we can't get any water. Our transportation is doomed. We're all gonna die. And Diana swoops in to the island, donned in the golden eagle armor that all the promotional material has, and she looks ridiculous, but it kind of looks awesome, but it's also really, really dumb. The wings, I just can't fathom how they function, because they function like wings. She can fly with them. They can close up to make it so she can walk through some doorways, but other times they stand outwards. And we meet up with Barbara, who's now Cheetah, full-on Catwoman hybrid, and they have their fight, and I think Barbara wasted her wish because she's no more stronger than she was when she was just a superhuman. She's no faster, she's no stronger. She's able to dent the armor, so I guess that gave her an edge, maybe? But yeah, she's able to tear off the golden armor wings, but that's pretty much it. Diana says, Barbara, you have goodness in you. You must stop this. And Barbara's like, stop with the speechifying. And that is one of the best lines in the movie. I genuinely loves that line. And Diana's like, is going to be defeated. But then she notices there's some water. She drags Cheetah into the water because she's a cat. Cats hate water. And there's a loose electrical cable. So she grabs the cable and plunges herself and the cable and Cheetah into the water with the electricity. And this is where, if this film made any sense, both of them will be dead. But nope. No. Cheetah knocked unconscious. Like, just completely knocked out. Diana didn't even faze her. Didn't do a thing to her. She is perfectly fine. Even though gold is... I'm pretty sure gold is a good conductor of electricity. And Cheetah wished to be just as strong and durable as Diana. So she should also be equally fine if this film is to be believed. But wait, like I said, this film makes no sense. It's kind of amazing. Okay, so the fight scene, it feels like the final fight scene in Black Panther. You know, the one where T'Challa and Killmonger have their big CGI brawl, and there's no idea of who's winning. No one seems to be taking any damage. It's just a CGI mess, and it looks terrible. It's that bad, and it's unfortunate. So, yeah. It's just... Anyway, so Diana manages to break into the satellite chamber room. Maxwell Lord is like, "You're too late! I am connected with all of them! I am the gods! I am the gods!" And he's now all better. He's got power flowing out of him. There's gusts of wind blowing through him. And Diana tries to get to him. She tries to grab him. But no, the wind is just blowing too hard. She can't get to it. Even though she can run faster than the eye can see, she's strong enough to lift tanks above her head, and she can fly. She can't do that. It is pretty silly. Yeah. So we have the final confrontation. Diana then takes out her lasso. She tries flinging it at him. It doesn't work because the wind is just so strong it can't get to him. Maxwell Lord then walks into the center of the beam of light that's in the middle of the room for some reason. I'm sure it has a function. And he is like, "It's too late, Diana. I will have the world connected to me. I am the new ruler." And Diana's like, "You don't need to do this. You are the world is beautiful. You can't live a lie." And Maxwell Lord is like, I'm not gonna stop because you told me to." And she's like, "I wasn't talking to you. I was talking to them." So yeah, apparently while Maxwell Lord was walking to the center, Diana managed to lasso his ankle. Somehow. I don't know how she did it because we saw she couldn't connect it with the... So we have this scene. So Diana makes this impassioned speech to everyone across the world that you can't live a lie, that truth is beautiful, that you need to accept the truth in front of you. And it is so cheesy and dumb because I'm just thinking to myself, what about people who made these wishes to help people? Like, there were people in Washington, D.C. with picket fences going, "Ban the nukes and give peace a chance." So what happens to those people? Do they wish for world peace? Do they get to... Does world peace negate the World War situation that we're in? Does a man who lost his family, he wishes for them to be brought back? Or what if someone had a serious injury, like they were in a coma, and their mother or their sister or brother or anything, they wish that they woke up from their coma, and now they have to renounce their wishes because a woman in a golden bird costume told them that it's wrong to live a lie? This is this is so silly. It's so dumb. I know. The wish comes with a price and it causes chaos. And it's a trickster stone and all that, but no one else knows that. So wouldn't most people take the risk and try to solve the problem with magic when everything else failed? I mean, we saw Maxwell Lord would do it, and even if Diana's belief in the whole good people will stop this, what about people who are selfish to the core, like who only care about themselves, and they see this and they're like, I got billions of dollars, I got my Porsche, I'm not renouncing it, go to hell. Like, that could happen. There are people like that, and it is so dumb. Maxwell Lord, everyone renounces their wishes, though. The nukes, they explode into the sky. The wall around Cairo disappears. Barbara reverts back to a human, so I guess that's good for her? Question mark? Everyone around the world is happy because they just survived a possible apocalyptic scenario. Maybe. We have Maxwell Lord, who doesn't have his powers, but we don't see him separating from the stone or anything, so that's kind of odd. So, yeah, we have, he reunites with his son, so it's to show, oh, he came close to plunging the world into chaos, but he ain't that bad, so no punishment for our villains. Not on a soul. We then cut to Christmas because it's a Christmas movie now! Even though it was the 4th of July in a previous scene. Weird. Diana is looking around the world. She meets up with Handsome Man. She flirts with him a bit, saying, you look good in your clothes. And he says, oh, thanks, no one else thinks so. And I'm just like, oh, that poor man, he has no idea what terrible, terrible things have happened and how close he was to dying because of Diana and Steve's selfishness. And we then of course have a red star balloon flying into the sky and we roll credits. We also have an after credits Easter egg. We find out what happened to that, to the world's greatest Amazon, who had the golden armor beforehand. It's, Linda Carter. Yeah, the original Wonder Woman. She appears in a cameo scene. She saves a kid and winks to the crowd and smiles. Credits. No, nothing really there to comment on. It's kind of cool seeing it. It's a bit weird. I'm pretty sure she's not also Wonder Woman, but again, I couldn't tell you what's happening. Oh, this film. This film. This film is it's a train wreck. Amazingly made train wreck. The visuals are impressive up until the final scene where we have the CGI fight fest. There are good actors in it. Everyone here is a skilled actor, and they could have made a great film with our talent. But the script really, really lets it down. There are plot holes all over the place. The machinations of the stone just go every which way. There's no consistent rule of how the stone works. Can Maxwell Lord only grant one wish to people? Or can he grant multiple? Is Diana losing all her powers, but if she is losing her powers, then how is she able to magic up the jet to be invisible? We don't see the jet any other scenes, actually. After it's used, it's completely gone from the rest of the film. I guess Diana and Steve couldn't find it. What do you know? We have no... Diana's actions and Steve's actions regarding the whole resurrection thing, it kind of makes them look a little skeevy, if I'm being honest, because there's no concern for the man who has effectively been killed because Steve is occupying his body. There's no concern that he could get seriously injured or killed for real as they go into battle with bullets flying everywhere. Steve doesn't have any issues because the body he's occupying in is a full foot taller, and there's different muscle structure to it. There's nothing like that. Diana is unconcerned about what happens. Barbara's transition is that I think because she was all kind but timid, and when she used the stone, she gave up her kindness and goodness, and she got stronger, more arrogant and powerful. But she was also meaner, but most of the time she was just attacking people like muggers, and it just feels like we don't really see her real start of darkness, if that makes any sense. I honestly feel bad for her, because it's clear that she wanted to have the confidence and strength to be better, and she got it, and Diana was going to take it away without finding a better alternative. And we only have the movies word that she was losing her kindness and caring capacity, but she wasn't actively attacking people. She was only attacking those who started trouble for her, and it's just this film. So this film was a mess. A pretty impressive, terrifyingly undisciplined mess. There are good actors in it, but their script did none of them any favors, and in the end, I think that's the tragedy. This could have been a good sequel. There's a chance it could have been. But, yeah, we didn't get it. So yeah, that's my thoughts. Share your thoughts on the comment section. Let me know if you hate this idea, if you think it's a great one. We'll see if we can do more films and TV series in this style. Maybe we'll have more fun. We'll probably take a look at the Snyder cut of Justice League. Yeah, we'll see if the 4-hour epic was well deserved. Oh God. Yeah. Anyway, that's it, gang. Stay safe. Take care of yourselves, and yeah, like, favorite, subscribe, do whatever you want. Okay. Bye.